The 5-second rule, fact or fiction. If you drop a sandwich on the ground, is it safe to eat as long as you pick it up within the next 5 seconds? In today's video, we're going to put it to the test, and we're going to be using a product called Glitterbug powder to have a bit of fun to see how quickly bacteria can jump from the ground onto your sandwich. So here we go. So here's everything that I need for my little experiment. So I've got my bread, I've got some, goodness knows what it is, that I'm going to put on my bread, and then I've got one plate to do my buttering on, and this is going to be the surface that I drop it on. But the secret to this one is we're going to be using a product called Glitterbug powder and a UV torch to mimic the behaviour of the bacteria. So with Glitterbug powder, what I'm going to do is just get a small amount and I'm just going to sprinkle it over the surface like that. Now, if I get a UV torch and I shine it onto it, what you see is it glows. So anywhere where the Glitterbug powder is will glow, and you can see I've sprinkled some accidentally on the bench top. So here we go. Okay, so we've now got our piece of bread, and if I get my torch and shine it on that, nothing happens. So here we go. The 5-second rule. I'm going to take it, drop it onto here for 5 seconds, take it off, and we're going to see how much of that ends up on here. So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We take it off. You can see it's on there. But if I take it on and shine it, what's actually interesting is that you can see all the little small bits all over the place. So obviously, 5-second rule is out. It's picking up everything that's on there. Let's try it again. Now what we're going to do is do exactly the same, but maybe it's the fact that we're leaving it too long. So let's take our 5-second rule down to maybe a 1-second rule. This one's going to be a bit of a touch and grab. So here we go. We go, ready, set, on, off. And how did we go? Well, first up I managed to spill it everywhere, but once again, you can see it's glowing. So we've picked up a huge amount of the powder. And so, yeah, forget about the 5-second rule, the 1-second rule, it just doesn't work. We're going to pick something up straight away. Now, let's have a little bit more funny games. So let's try something like honey. Now, okay, given that it failed with butter, my expectations is that honey will just be so much worse. Okay, so here we go. We've still got enough Glitterbug powder on that plate, so we'll do the 1-second test. So on, off, and surprise, surprise. Look at that, it just sucked up absolutely everything. So obviously, if you've got something sticky that you're dropping down onto the floor, it's going to pick up everything. And in fact, it's going to leave a lot of stuff behind. So there goes the honey mess. Okay, let's try a new one. We'll get some more. We'll put some powder out. Okay, in this next one, let's have a little bit of fun and games with jam. Muscles. So here we go, 5-second rule with jam. Oh, that's just gross. Okay, this is where you call the dog in to clean up the floor. It's obviously dirty, but having a look at the piece of bread with jam on it, mate, just forget about it. If that hits the floor, it's going nowhere. Okay, jam, fail. Okay, 5-second rule with Nutella. Here we go. And this is where everyone just thinks it's a waste of Nutella, but here we go. Ready, set, down, and oh, it's sticking anyway. Now, the only reason why this would pass is because all the Nutella stuck to the floor rather than sticking to the bread. But here we go, we grab the UV torch and shine, and sure enough, it's all glowing. So, okay, Nutella's failed. Jam's failed, honey's failed. I think the next thing we can do is the classic Aussie favourite. So let's get rid of that. And piece of bread, Vegemite. Here we go. The good old Aussie classic. Will Vegemite stick up for the 5-second rule? Now, if you're American and watching this, this is too thick. Like, yeah, do not put Vegemite on like it's peanut butter. Okay, here we go. New plate, new test. Okay, 1-second rule, Vegemite, ready, set, go. Okay, getting the torch, shining it on, and once again, you can see it's glowing. So 5-second rule, Vegemite, forget about it, it's not happening. Okay, so we've tested butter, we've tested Vegemite, we've tested jam, honey, Nutella. It doesn't matter what it is. As soon as you've got something wet on your bread, if it's touching the ground, it's going to pick up whatever's on the ground. But we're now left with the fundamental question, what happens if you've just got a piece of bread? Because face it, if you've got a sandwich, it's not the inside that's going to be hitting the ground, it's the outside. So it's the bread that's going to be touching the ground. And so the question is, will a dry piece of bread pick up the bacteria that's on the ground? Now, I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to do something that's slightly different this time. Every other time we've had these big chunky bits. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be squishing them down. Okay, and so that's probably more likely to be what's on the ground. So here we go, piece of bread. And so first up, let's do the 5-second rule. So piece of bread lands on the ground, 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1, and we pick it up and we grab the UV torch and it's glowing all over. So 5-second rule, piece of bread, no, it's going to pick up whatever's on the ground. Let's do that again. And now, might as well just leave what's there. This time we're going to do this 1-second test. So here we go. Sandwich hitting the ground. How good are your reactions? So ready, set, 1 second. And we pull out the torch and there's already as much on virtually as there was with the 5-second rule, which makes sense because as soon as it makes contact, that's when everything's going to stick. It doesn't matter if it's sitting there for 1 second, 5 seconds, or a minute. Whatever's on the ground is now being stuck to the bread. So there you go. 5-second rule, total myth. If something touches the ground, whatever's on the ground is going to be transferred through to your bread almost instantly. And so that's it. That's the 5-second rule, totally busted. Fun experiment. You can do this in a classroom. You can do it anywhere. And it's just a fun way of testing the 5-second rule. So there you go, Glitterbug powder, 5-second rule, busted.